Not sure what year this was, but during the time my grandfather was doing his service in the U.S. Army in Vietnam, my grandmother was home with my grandfather's brother Eddie. My grandmother was pregnant and her first child was due in a few weeks. That night she had to drive Eddie home. It was late at night, very dark and chilly. No one was out driving. My grandmother was driving and Eddie was sitting in the passenger seat. She came up to this intersection in South Philly. It was the corner of Ninth and Moore Street. She was passing a bar, and suddenly, in a blink of an eye, a drunk driver crashed right into the driver's side of my grandmother's car, sending the car into three parked cars. The drunk driver tried to escape, but the witnesses from the bar ran out and actually caught the drunk driver and forced him to wait for the cops. Eddie in the car had cuts and bruises and was screaming, "Help! This woman needs help! She is pregnant!" My grandmother's side of the car was literally pushed into her, making the steering wheel wrap around her leg, trapping her. No one was able to get her out. She had to wait for the firemen to get there. That part of the story was never explained to me because she was unconscious. My grandmother woke up in the hospital and survived the crash. If my grandmother died, then I would not have been born. It was the middle of the 14th century. King Adams and Queen Jezebel were madly in love with each other. They were the power couple of the Renaissance. The queen is pregnant, and very soon a new baby prince is due. One glorious day, the king set out on a journey to go send another message to another king that was far, far, far away. The queen was left behind with one of her peasants to take good care of her. The queen had to leave the castle and go into a small village to buy the most delicious bread ever made. The queen wanted to surprise the king and cook him a great meal when he gets back from his journey. So the queen and her peasant went out on a carriage ride into the village. Everyone loves the queen. People were greeting with joy. When the queen's carriage was passing the Spooner's bar, a drunk man on his horse and carriage is coming up very fast and suddenly crashes into the queen's carriage. The peasant flies off the horse and fell into a bush, and the queen is trapped in the carriage. A piece of the wood wrapped around the leg, keeping her trapped. The drunk man on the other horse and carriage jumped off before impact, and the other men saw the drunk man try to run away, and they caught up to him so he would not escape. The peasant got out of the bush and had to help to free the queen from the destroyed carriage. Once the queen was free, a doctor finally came and was surprised that the queen was still alive.